Right, Cloud Foundry Foundation Technical Oversight Committee for the 7th of March 2023. Agenda for today, we'll hear from the App Runtime Deployments Working Group. We've got a couple of PRs to review, then any other business. Is there any other agenda items people want to add that I don't already have? No. Okie dokie. As always, if there are any PRs that aren't on there, go ahead and add them. I had a scan earlier, couldn't find any. I see a couple have been added since, but as always, add any more that you want to add. Jochen, floor's yours.
Yeah, thanks. So, quick update on the application runtime deployments working group efforts. So last year and beginning of this year, we were still busy with the migration of the existing build and validation infrastructure to new accounts dedicated to the working group. So migrating everything from VMware to new accounts. This is now, I would say, 99% completed. So I'm basically talking about the many different bubble accounts that we use to validate and release CF deployment. So what we have now is a new GCP account, CF deployments working group, which hosts most of the resources. So all the bubble environments and also the Concourse Kubernetes cluster. And we have a new AWS account, which hosts just the bubble environment for one dedicated special test environment. So that's all completed. I think the only thing that's missing is 3 Git bots, which still belong to VMware, and we need to migrate those too so that we can accept the Cloud Foundry org invitation and then correctly configure the branch the branch protection rules. Okay, what we also did is migrated the Concourse to the new setup that has been introduced by the Application Runtime Interfaces Working Group. So they created this new Terraform, TerraGrunt-based project for deploying Concourse on a Kubernetes cluster with automatic credential rotation and any other feature you can dream of. And this is also completed. Concourse is now running in our working group's domain, and it's the latest version. And we have automatic certificate renewal, and yeah, we are now away from the old bosh stem cell CI infra project, which was not really supported anymore. Good. So that's for the infrastructure part. And now for the actual content of our project, we were mainly working on this story, the support for CF Linux FS4. FS3 based on Bionic runs out of support soon, and we want to migrate to FS4. So we are dangerously close to the finish line. All build packs have support for FS4 in the meantime. PHP is still missing. Just this morning, the PHP build pack project added support for FS4, but the bosh release stuff is missing, so we cannot integrate this yet. We have this monitoring job here. This is the only job which runs the Cloud Foundry acceptance tests on the CF Linux FS4 stack. And here we run only the subset that is interesting, that is the buildpack detection jobs. And if you check the result, then it's just one failing job. The PHP buildpack detection is still failing. When we have that in, it should turn green, and then we are finally done. No, we are not done. And then we can continue with the next steps. So currently the FS4 support is still provided as experimental opt-in. And when buildpacks are completed, we would then proceed with step 1. We integrate the FS4 support directly into CF deployment, remove the experimental ops files, and make it the default stack. Yeah, this would then be an incompatible major release. And then when FS3 support really ends, we would remove the deprecated FS3 stack and provide an opt-in file for users who still have to go with that stack for some time. And we would also add a validation, a basic validation, likely here to the bionic stem cell validation. And then we would finally be done. Promoting the experimental file would be a possible in-between step, but it's actually not necessary. We would directly integrate it into CF deployment, and then we are fine. Yeah, so that would be all. Of course, we had a lot of minor improvements, updates, but this is the only noteworthy story. Any questions?
Do you have a rough timeline for when you're expecting to get CF Linux FS4 into CF deployment?
The rough timeline, yeah, well, when PHP is ready, we can immediately proceed. Then I mean, okay, that depends a little bit on our sprint planning here at SAP, but I'm sure that Stephan Merker is eager to get things going, and then in the maybe over next sprint, so 2-3 weeks or so, we could proceed with step 1, make it the default, and publish this as an incompatible release.
Yeah, I think we should get rid of CF Linux FS3 end of April. That's as soon as the Bionic support ends, we should also have a clean CF deployment project. And that's realistic, I would say.
Do you mean get rid of it by default or get rid of it entirely from CF deployment?
As mentioned, we would add an experimental ops file where you can re-add the existing unmaintained CF Linux FS3 stack, and you can hope that the build packs continue to work. I mean, it will break at a certain point in time. It depends, of course, on the build pack project, but yeah, you have a frozen stack and you have moving build packs. Sounds like a recipe for failure. We would provide the stack and a job that shows you whether it is still working or not. We would not make any guarantees, I guess. We can't.
I believe the VMware team is still testing with the old stack, because we still have some customers that are using that. So compatibility will probably be fine for a bit, but yeah, eventually that runs out as well.
Do you envision a point in time where you will remove the ops files for CF Linux FS3?
I don't know. I guess it becomes a topic when they don't work anymore, but otherwise there's no real reason, right? I don't know if there are complaints from security folks, etc., but we do not ship it. I mean, it's it's not a technical reason. Then it would be a formal, whatever, legal reason.
Okay. That's very useful to know for me. We may end up
Yeah.
running FS3 for a bit.
Just get it over with. Move everybody by force.
You are joking.
Yeah,
We will do that.
We have to
you're
do
doing
this here, yeah.
I wish I could. It's very hard to get a government department to do anything, frankly, let alone update their code. Christ, were it that were that simple. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question. Ramon is looking into fixing bosh bootloader, getting like the main branch working again. There are some incompatibilities with the 8.4 branch. So currently the new versions that are published by CI are from the 8.4 branch. The main branch is, I don't know, in a totally different state. So I was wondering if you have any like long running environments, or that we could make like a breaking new version. Basically, you have a new line that we start publishing on Bubble, and we break the upgrade path basically.
Could happen. Yes, indeed. We have long-lived environments. Basically, the ones we are used for the CF deployment release pipeline. So these are long-lived environments. They're automatically updated once a week. So here we just do a bubble up with the latest version. Breaking change would not be that much of a problem. We would have to destroy each infrastructure one time and set it up from scratch again, if that's required.
So that sounds acceptable, because I mean, like trying to get that upgrade path quite expensive, and I mean the main use case people use for Bubble is in my opinion. So, yeah.
Oh, sorry, your network
good
connection.
To know that there's at least tooling. You already have tooling. Okay,
yes,
I will go switch networks.
Yeah, we have tooling. We're mainly using GCP as mentioned. One is AWS. And we also have a few short-lived environments which are powered up and down every time. No, not that one. Yeah, well, every time a new bosh release comes in, then we have short-lived environments. Yeah, but okay. As long as Bubble is somehow still supported and working, and then this should be fine for us. Yeah.
Maybe a bit of coordination makes sense here, so that we can, let's say, run the Bubble upgrade independently of a CF deployment upgrade, so that we can test the upgrade for the next CF deployment version still. But I think that's manageable. It's just need to talk and plan it, and then can be done.
Yeah, this is mainly independent of the CF deployment version, I would say. Yeah, I mean, just a question for us is, can we update an existing bubble, or do we need to destroy and redeploy it from scratch? That's all we need to know. Yeah. Okay, but good to hear that there is some maintenance. Yeah, I was afraid. I mean, if it uses a lot of Terraform, and if the Terraform provider is too old or whatever, then it might really break, and then we have a problem. Then we could not release anymore.
Yeah, that's being worked on, at least by Ramon, who is working for SAP. So.
Okay, good, great.
You also announced the rollout plans for CF Linux FS4 in the mailing list. Did you hear anything back? There was nothing in the mailing list.
No, I think there was almost no response. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah. Assuming that everyone is fine with the rollout plan. Well.
Okay, any more on this one? No. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Jochen.
Okay.
We'll move on to PRs. 537 up first. Just reading. Yeah, I think we can just approve and merge on this one by the looks of it. Any objections? No. Cool. I've learned my lesson from last time. Finally, 509. It just needs the CLA.
Yeah, I think there was a second commit that came in on this, and that didn't pass the. I think that caused it not to pass the CLA check. But then also this affects the App Runtime Platform working group, so we should get Amelia's sign off on it.
Okay.
But the CLA thing is probably the more annoying thing to resolve on it.
What can we do, or is this waiting on the user to accept it, or is it a failure on our part?
We might need to make sure that the submitter on that second commit, like I think the first one passed because Amin was on it, but I think the Brandon Roberson might need to make sure that they've signed all the CLA approvals and things. Chris might know how to kick this once we verified that that person has done that. Or Ram, if you happen to know.
I'm guessing Ram doesn't know.
Anyway, yeah,
Oh,
we can
find his mute
coordinate
button.
on the PR to make sure that all that's getting resolved.
Okay, I'll prompt the person just to make sure they've signed it. Just at least there's that done. I'll do that after this. Right. Are there any other PRs that people want to talk about while we have people? No? Okay. Any other business then?
Hey everyone, this is Ram. So on the call with us here today is Sylvain. So Sylvain is the newest teammate on the Cloud Foundry Foundation team. He's going to be focused on writing some cloud native content for us. Sylvain, do you quickly want to introduce yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ram. Hi, everybody. I'm a former engineer. I was my last position was a senior SRE at LinkedIn. I used to be an end user. Then I went to create a software engineering school where we train people to become software engineer from zero to working at the top company in Silicon Valley. And I started doing this about 3 years ago. Now I help tech startups and tech communities to get the word out. Lastly, did a lot of work with the data and Kubernetes community, which some of you might know. And yeah, I'm very excited to join the Cloud Foundry community and looking forward to collaborate with you guys.
Welcome. I'm sure that the Karifi team has a shed load of work for you at this point. Or will do in the very near future, at least. Any other business? No? Okay, well, let us wrap up there. I don't think we have anybody already arranged for next week, so I'll make sure that gets done. Other than that, I will see you all this time next week. Great.
Okay, see you.
Thanks, everyone.
Ciao for now, folks.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.